Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to talk about Clan Boss. This is going to be my final Clan Boss video until the new Hydra Clan Boss is released. And the reason is we finally broke into Ultra Nightmare in 3 to 4 keys, depending on what element it is under 50%. And I'm pretty proud of it, so I want to show you. Also, big thanks to Plarium and RSL for sponsoring this video. If you want to play Raid Shadow Legends, in the description below, you can get that link there and download. If you start right now, you have about 30 days to download the game, and you get all these rewards here. You get 100k silver, 50 gems, a stamina pack, and the Executioner, who is a really good starter unit that I use myself on the way up to the brutal difficulty in the campaign, and he worked absolute wonders. So yeah, download there in the link description below. Let's get on to the game. Okay, so this is going to be my team here. I have Alton, Martyr, Grizzled Jarl, Occult Brawler, and Razin. And speed tuning and everything related to that turn order is exceptionally important. Like, that's the reason we're able to do this now, and that's the reason we're able to auto it. And we'll go through all of that at the end of the video. But first off, let's just get started and show you what happens. And this is again on Ultra Nightmare. So we do not auto right at the start. Our goal is to get all of our cooldowns set up so we can just hit auto in a couple turns, and then everything goes exactly how we want it. So our Martyr goes first, and this allows us to get maximum uptime on our counterattack buff, and gets you all this damage. This is where most of our damage comes from. It's not actually poison, it's counterattack. For the first turn, we're going to use Alton's skill 3. There's a bunch of different units you can use for this, but these are just the ones I have here. We're not going to use Sheer, which gives him weaken and defense down on the first turn, just because we want it for the most counterattacks, which is going to be 2 turns from now. We're not going to buff this either, because we need that to buff the stun and block the stun. So we're just going to use skill 1 or skill 3 here. Doesn't really matter. Land some poison there with Occult Brother. Do an auto attack here with Martyr. He's going to attack. We're going to get some more counters here. This turn is when we are going to use Grizzled Jarl's skill 2, and that will give Martyr block buffs, or Alton block buffs, and it will stop Martyr from being stunned, which is exactly what we want. And we're not using Sheer yet either. And then we've got our block buffs up here, so we'll place this up. This also keeps up 100% uptime on defense down, or defense up, which is what we need. Another auto attack here. It's gonna stun the Alton. Of course, we soak that damage because we set up block buffs. And here is where we sheer. This hopefully gives weaken, and then from this point on, all of our cooldowns are perfectly set, and we just watch in glory. It's almost better to auto than to manual, because everything is absolutely perfect. And there's a lot of things that need to work for this to work. Like, you need to have the exact speed order. For the most part, you need to be within certain speeds. You need to not have any turn manipulation masteries. You need to not have speed buffs, speed downs. You need to not have anything like that. And we can see here now, I believe we're on the turn where we do block debuffs, and it'll line up exactsies perfectly, and it's just glorious. It's also great because we don't have counterattack buff for this stage, so it's fine. We don't need it for this time. And yeah, this is pretty much the way it goes, and it will go this way until we finish. So I'm just gonna fast forward until the end here. We'll show you the damage, and then we'll talk through the stats and stuff. Okay, so we're getting near the end here. I just want to talk a little bit about the turn order as it's going, because there are still some things I need to fix with this. The stun is very, very, very important to zone in on the Alton. And I actually have a big problem with that, because right now my one speed tuning I could not get was to get my Grizzled Jarl slower than my slower than my Occult Brawler. It's so hard to think in my head. So right now my Occult Brawler is the last person to go, which means my Occult Brawler gets rid of the block stun debuffs, and then gets stunned and then dies. So that's my big problem right now with this. It usually happens if I miss a War Master proc, usually around like 8 minutes or so. And I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see what happens if it does, and it's still fine if it does. And it's a really easy fix. I literally just need to bring my Occult Brawler down to speed, and my Jarl up 2 speed, or the other way around. Ah, it's so confusing. Really easy fix. I just couldn't get it done yet though. Like right now, if I don't heal up to full, there's a really good chance I'm dead right now, unfortunately, on the Occult Brawler here. Because I think... No, we're still fine. We're still fine. We're going to get one more hit in, and that's going to bring us up to full, so we'll be fine. Perfect. Yeah, we're still fine. So, looking great, looking great. And if you can see here, everybody has block debuffs except for Martyr and Occult Brawler. So Martyr's basically never gonna hit. It's just Occult Brawler. So really easy fix. And this is where we start taking some damage. And yeah, Occult Brawler is gonna super die. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll still get our good amount of damage in. I'm not sure how much. Maybe he'll proc some debuffs here. Maybe he will. You can do this. Hey, Pog, he did. So we're super okay again, but he just needs to proc it again. I need to make him a little bit stronger. He's definitely my weak link here. And it's actually, you'll see when we go through the stats here, how much damage Alton can do. And yes, I've been blessed with specific units for this, but Alton just does insane amounts of damage, and I don't even have a crit damage accessory for him. He's on like a flat HP accessory. So this is where things get hectic. If you can see, Alton did not get hit by that. So that's not good, but as long as it's not Brawler or Martyr, we're fine. So we're up to 9 minutes now. We'll be getting one shot soon. But it's okay. It's okay. Hopefully we get about 27 million is the goal. We want to get around that point, which is insane to think about because I came from doing like 1 million damage before and like worked my way up to this, and it just feels awesome. Hey, Occult Brawler, good try, buddy. It's too bad he just barely died. So my next fix for this is going to be definitely just increasing the stats, the defensiveness of the OB, because he's just always my weak link. I could also replace Occult Brawler with a different defense-based unit, because while poisons are a huge amount of damage in the earlier clan bosses, I find it seems to be less important here. Obviously they do a ton of damage, but just another defense-based bruiser that survives another round or two is enough damage to make up for that poison. So we are just gonna make 10 minutes here. Pretty good. I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. Are we dead here? Oh, so close. So if we were a little bit more tanky, we would get so much more damage in. It's so cool to look at that, because just like a little bit more and we would get like another couple rounds in. We'd actually get like a full rotation in. So what's our damage? 26.6 million damage. You can see our OB did 9 million and he died decently early. Alton at 6 million. Grizzled Jarl needs some more damage. Same with Martyr here. But overall, pretty solid. Really happy with that. RRDD beating me in damage. Same with Umel, but it's okay. It's okay. This is only my first couple days on this boss. So let's just go through the gear, and it's changed extraordinarily since last time we did this. Extraordinarily changed. So the only way this works, this specific strategy I'm using, there's a couple different alterations of it, but we're going to go through the one that I am specifically doing. Is number one, your counterattack unit, which is either going to be your Martyr or your Skull Crusher, I believe, needs to be at 191 to 194 speed. So that has to be a thing. So if we look at my Martyr here, he is on 191 exactly speed, I think. So basically bare minimum, if she was 190 speed, this would not work at all. So needs to be 191 to 193. And also, just to go through the masteries here, you cannot take anything that manipulates turn order. So that means if you take this Arcane Celerity here, this will not work. If you take this down here, extending buffs on your shield and stuff, this will not work either. Nothing like that will work. You cannot get anything similar to that. You can't get extra speed, although this wouldn't really matter. This one can't work either. No cooldown reduction, nothing whatsoever like that. You have to stay very, very strict on your masteries, which kind of sucks a little because it makes them worse everywhere else, but it's just necessary here. I also am going to move my head so you can see things, but we have our Rush, Bastion of Face, and Suppression here. Rush needs some more skill ups, and these are her stats, just that speed required, and then defensive subs, accuracy, and crit rate, crit damage. Next up, everybody else has to be between 171 and 180 speed. It doesn't matter where they are in that range, but they have to be very, very, very similar. They have to be within that range. So we've got our Razin here at what looks like 174 speed, and his stats are there as well. Same idea with masteries. You cannot take any of those ones I mentioned before. He's got max skills as well here. Our Alton is the same. He's at 176. And same thing here with masteries. We can check it out here, and you can see we don't have a crit damage accessory. I guess we do have 17 sub on there, but this would be a huge change if we could get a crit damage accessory for him. We then have our Grizzled Jarl, and theoretically he should be the slowest person on your team. And it's really important that he's the slowest person on your team, but there's just nothing I can do about it. Right now he is at what looks to be 172 speed. And then our Occult Brawler, who needs that buff, is at 171. So my Occult Brawler just needs to go to 173, and then my order is perfection. Alternatively, when you're against spirits, you need to change your order of your skills and make sure you block debuffs on the speed debuff, because that will screw everything up too. I don't need to do that because I get so much damage on Void that I can do worse on those other element bosses. But if you're not doing as much damage as me in the first two Void attacks, then you might have to manipulate your speed to make sure that you block debuffs for speed on everything. Otherwise, it's all out of whack here. As for my Occult Brawler masteries, I went just like this. And my Jarl's masteries are the only ones that's essentially different, and I went with defense just because it's actually detrimental for Grizzled Jarl to land debuffs, because he's got a heal reduction on his skill 1, which I just don't want to have happen. That just takes up a debuff slot. It could take up a poison. Just don't want that to happen. And we also have a decrease attack on his skill 3, which is pretty nice. I would enjoy that, but it's not worth getting at the cost of this heal reduction. Also got ridiculously lucky with my skill ups, where I got all of these done and I missed the 2 debuff chances, which I didn't want anyway. So I find that really cool that I got really lucky that way. So yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always. Thank you again for Plarium for sponsoring this video. In the link description below, you can get that downloaded, get your free executioner, get your free energy, get all that shenanigans, and come play with us here. And look at how many shards we have. I want to open these so bad. I'm just waiting for a double rate up right now, and I am itching to open those. So have a great day. Bye, everybody.